Well, hi to the 4 people who watch my channel. On this edition of Holy Shit, no one asked you to fucking do that, Ryan. I'm gonna be talking about my favorite albums of the last decade. That is gonna span from the years 2010 to 2019, just so we're clear about that. Now, before I get started, I'd like to say that this is not me ranking albums and talking about what's better or what's worse than others. This is a matter of personal opinion. So before you little twats go and say, "Yeah, Ryan, you like that album's not better than this," that's not the point of the video. Pretty much just talking about like my favorite albums. My favorite albums, not yours. Now, I can't play snippets of the songs for you guys in this video because that violates like 4,000 different copyright rules, and I can't pay a $50,000 fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Spotify playlist of all the songs that are a part of these albums that I'm about to talk about, and I will leave it in the description. I did purchase a microphone. It's a Blue Yeti Nano. So now that I have a mic that I can talk into that blocks out all the fuzzy noise in the background a lot better, you guys get to hear me incessantly blab about things way more often. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First album I want to talk about is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. This one came out in 2010, so I was about 11 years old, and to be honest, I think I was definitely way too young to be listening to the crude lyrics, having sex with pharaohs, putting vaginas in sarcophaguses, anal gangbangs. I digress. My brother's a bad influence. This was probably the first album that I was exposed to that really got me into like hip-hop, I would say. For like a lot of years, hip-hop and like rap was the only thing that I really listened to for a while, and probably up until I want to say like my junior or my senior year of high school. I started listening to like different kinds of music. But if I had to recommend a couple songs from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy for people who maybe haven't listened to it, I know there's definitely way more people who have listened to it than people who haven't, but I would recommend Hell of a Life. Blame Game with John Legend is superb as well. And third one, Runaway. That is one of the songs that I'll willingly listen to for about 8 minutes. Devil in a New Dress. That's another song that I want to recommend. That is, in my opinion, Kanye West's best song of all time. Second album I want to talk about is I Like It When You Sleep, For You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It by the 1975. I think a lot of the music I listen to, I hate saying people put me onto music because I'd like to think I discover everything on my own, but I don't. My brother got me into the 1975. He would play the songs from their first album when we were in the car together when I was a little younger, like I would say like 13, 14 probably. If I had to recommend a couple songs from this one to people who haven't heard the whole thing, maybe Paris. Paris is probably my favorite song on the album. The sound, obviously, I feel like everyone loves that song. A Change of Heart. A Change of Heart is the other one. That one kind of sounds a little unorthodox and the lyrics are kind of like silly, but it's a super catchy song, and honestly, if you kind of listen to it a little bit, you're probably going to be singing that over and over again because it'll just get stuck in your head. I did see them twice, actually. The first time I saw them was at the Armory in Rochester. That was a great time. That was actually like the first concert that I ever went to. The second time was last summer at Governor's Ball, which was absolutely magical. If you haven't seen the 1975 yet live, definitely do that. They bring the energy and they do their thing every single time they perform. If you watch like a live performance of them even on YouTube, you can kind of feel that energy radiate through your screen. But yeah, I Like It When You Sleep, For You're So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It by the 1975. The third album that I would say was my favorite of the last decade, Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. This one came out in 2018. This was like the first time I I said like I liked a country music piece of work. I had like blatantly detested country music for like the longest time, and even then Casey isn't really like country. She's absolutely phenomenal. I think her music is so like easy to listen to and relaxing, and not only is she like a fantastic musician, she's also like a super kick-ass person. Like if you follow her on Instagram and just look at the way she kind of like carries herself and the aesthetic that she is committed to, she's literally like the coolest person ever. Last month, during like Christmas break, like when I was at home, story time actually, I sent her a DM on Instagram and I kind of asked her to like come to our house and sing Christmas carols for us. Didn't work out, unfortunately. I'm like, I get it, you're busy doing other things or whatever, but I'll try again next year. If I had to recommend a couple songs from Golden Hour to people who haven't listened to a ton of Casey Musgraves, probably Oh What a World, I really enjoy. Love is a Wild Thing, I love that song, no pun intended. Get it? Because Love is a Wild Thing. I said I love the song. Personally, I thought it was funny. High Horse. Yeah, High Horse is a super catchy song. Sidebar, her Christmas album is absolutely fantastic as well. There's Christmas songs on it, but there's also like a ton of originals on there, and I'll slip a couple of those in the playlist for you guys. Yeah, Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. Second to last one, Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. This one came out in 2016, and if you know me and like we're friends, like you know me for a while, then you know how much like I loved Chance the Rapper when I was in high school. I also saw him in concert. Saw him at Darien Lake. Haven't seen him again since. Personally, I did like Coloring Book better than Acid Rap, which is kind of like an unpopular opinion, I guess, for Chance the Rapper enthusiasts. But for like some of the lyrics that were associated with Coloring Book, like in The Blessings Reprise, which is the last song on the album, it kind of had like this feeling of finality to it, if that makes, is that a word? Finality? But yeah, when it goes like, I kind of heard that at a time when I was getting ready to like graduate high school, and it was so like appropriate for what was going on in my life at the time. But like the music was kind of speaking to you in a way, as like corny and cliche as that sounds. If you've ever been at like a party or like a function with me and someone turned on like a Chance the Rapper song, like I would go absolutely ape shit to like an unhealthy point, and to a point that wasn't good for like my blood pressure. Because like when I scream and like when I yell things, there's like this super big vein in my head, like kind of like right here down like the side of like my temple, that pops out extremely large, and it kind of looks like there's like an anaconda or like a tapeworm inside my head. If I had to recommend a couple songs on this album, Blessings Reprise, which comes right at the end, How Great, and Finish Line. Another thing too that made Chance the Rapper so great during that time was the energy that he was able to bring to his live performances, as well as, you know, like his concerts and appearances on award shows and whatnot. His performance at the 59th annual Grammys, where he started off with How Great and he transitioned into like 4 different songs, was absolutely electric. I personally, in my opinion, that's like my favorite Grammy performance of all time. The last album that is actually probably my favorite album of the last decade is Blonde by Frank Ocean. This is not going to come to like a surprise to a lot of you, but it came out in 2016. Sorry. The reason why I think a lot of people who really liked this album liked it for similar reasons, to be honest. Like we all know Frank Ocean likes to tug at the heartstrings and makes music that's a little little too relatable. But just like any other form of good music, in my opinion, if the music doesn't speak to you a certain way and it's not relatable and you can't form a positive or even a negative memory to it, because I mean, we all have those songs that kind of bring back bad memories, but that's the most powerful thing about music, in my opinion, is how it can kind of take you back to a certain place and remind you of a time in your life when you were either fucking miserable or really happy. Anyways, Blonde by Frank Ocean. If I die without seeing Frank Ocean live, I'm gonna be so pissed, man. If I had to recommend a couple songs from Blonde, Self Control. Self Control is probably not only like my favorite Frank Ocean song, but like my favorite song of all time. Number 2, White Ferrari. Again, super duper depressing song. Number 3, probably Skyline 2. Why do I love this album so much? Like, it almost feels like Frank Ocean kind of like wrote the album personally for me. And I'm sure it feels like that for a lot of people too. Blonde by Frank Ocean, probably my favorite album of the decade. I would love to have a discussion. I would love to hear what your guys' like favorite albums of the decade are. Yeah, like I said, I'll leave a Spotify playlist of some of the songs that were included on these albums that I just named. Listen to them if you want, or if you don't want to, that's fine too. But yeah, I'll leave that in the description, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.